Hello everyone, this is Wrestling Watcher. So Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss. Following up on a Ronda Rousey video I made yesterday, she was on the Lapsed Fan podcast and she made remarks. And she talked about Alexa Bliss and she said that she thinks it was ridiculous that she was made to feud with Alexa Bliss just because Alexa Bliss, in quote unquote, was the top merch seller at the time. Now, this was 2018. This was that SummerSlam where Ronda Rousey took the title off of Alexa Bliss. If you remember, I believe it was Money in the Bank where Rousey defeated Nia Jax for the title. I think it was Nia Jax. And Alexa Bliss came out. She won the Money in the Bank briefcase. She cashed in and took it off Rousey that night. Now, if you remember, Alexa Bliss was a heel at that moment. She was a rude girl sort of character where she would say just mean things about her opponents. And she would try and make it personal. I mean, that was her character. Basic top heel sort of performance, I thought. She was a great heel at the time. And Rousey was meant to be that overly dominant babyface that knocked Alexa Bliss down a peg. Now, this statement by Ronda Rousey, in my opinion, shows that she doesn't understand the business that she's in. She's being brought in as a top babyface. She's meant to be a top babyface at this point. Alexa Bliss is a top merch seller in the company as a heel. So they're trying to create a match between these two to make money. That is the business that she's in. I don't think she fully understands that. I think in her mind it's like Alexa Bliss is this, physique competitor who isn't really a real fighter and has no business in the ring with Ronda Rousey. And that, I said it before, that's just not understanding the business that you're in. Now look, guys have had that same sort of attitude. I think Goldberg has refused to work with guys because he didn't think they were on his level physically and it wouldn't be a believable match. I think certain guys he's made look terrible because he didn't think they were on his level, so he refused to have a match with them, sort of thing. Right? I think Chris Jericho sort of fit that bill. He didn't think Jericho was on his level, whether it be physicality or a star attraction, so he didn't want to work with him in WCW. And honestly, you can I think Lesnar sort of had that same sort of situation where certain guys he's refused to work with because perhaps he didn't think they were on his level. Like he specifically wanted to work with Bobby Lashley because he thought Bobby Lashley was on his level. So I can understand it. It seems like a very old school mentality to me. I would say Rousey would have fit better in the territory days, but I don't know if that would have worked either. But this statement shows she doesn't understand the business. Because they're trying to make her by putting her up against Alexa Bliss. I mean, when you have a top heel like that selling merch, that shows that she's over. And when you put your top babyface with her, you're trying to get your top babyface over. Right? But, you gotta kind of blame the booking because, if you remember 2018, they brought her in as a babyface to go up against Stephanie and the Authority. But she came off being a dominant UFC champion just a couple years prior. I mean, she was winning every fight with an armbar. How are you supposed to get sympathy on a dominant champion like that? That's just not going to happen. I understand the babyface pop bringing her in, but long term, that babyface run was always going to be doomed because she didn't understand the business. You have to understand the business to be a babyface when you really think about it. When you think about the top babyfaces that have existed in professional wrestling, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, The Rock. If you look at 2000, The Rock, when he was having his Attitude Era top babyface run. Every top babyface understands the business they are in and understands how to make the most money out of that business. They all have that in common. Hogan, Austin, Rock, Cena, they all understood that. No one ever really taught Rousey that side of the business, it would seem like, to me, based on these comments. That's going to be all for this one, guys. Thank you.